Hey guys, this is just a little tutorial I've been thinking about for a while. I've wanted to kind of showcase that um, we can reuse some existing nav mesh from existing areas in Elden Ring and sort of patch those together to make new areas. So not out necessarily having to be able to edit any nav mesh whatsoever. Um, and still have enemies kind of act naturally and path around things and even edit some assets to be sort of dynamic obstacles that the enemies will path around correctly and make some more interesting areas. So this is just a short little video I want to try to make. It's kind of a impractical workflow. I tried to make a written guide on the process, but it's just a little hard to follow in writing, and so some people suggested I make a video instead, and yeah, I mean, I know it's not going to be for everyone. I think some people just really want the ability to hand edit and add mesh themselves. But anyone that just, they made a boss, they're making a new little quest or something, they just need kind of a vague area with nav mesh capability and, you know, maybe they need like a new little hub that some enemies patrol around, then that's fine for this. This is not for your super creatives, you know, these giant overhauls that make like brand new areas, try to make a whole new continent. This is for maybe you want to add a little part on a cave or patch a couple of these areas together and make your own little cave or catacomb or something, or like a rune-strewn precipice type area. Just reusing some of that old geometry and old nav mesh today with the current tooling without waiting, however long it takes to get navmesh editing capabilities. So yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna kind of begin. We'll kind of talk through it as I go. I'm gonna start a brand new project. We'll call it Old Altus Cult, I guess. I don't know. Make a new directory. Um, get the game executable. Some of this is boring, but I do want to try to I skipped some steps behind the screen, and yeah, that's not a big deal. I'll kind of try to explain some of the things I did, but this is a very specific tutorial on a very specific process. It's not, I don't know, like you should just know how to do some of the asset stuff or some of the EMVVD stuff. I'm not going to try to get into that. I'm not going to do a lot of the param edits. This is just kind of a simple case. I already did a lot of the map edits, so yeah, we essentially the idea behind this mod is let's go just quickly showcase. I want to add a new little room, maybe for a boss or something, off of a part of the old Altus tunnel. Maybe the miners there mined into like a little Godwin cult group or something. Try to have like a little dumb narrative to it. Basically, I want to remove this wall right here. Maybe they blasted it open, and I want there to be a boss room here. We're not going to get into the boss. That's for you to figure out on your own. I don't really care. But basically, what most map editors would do traditionally is they'd just kit bash stuff. So they would just grab, say they like the Dragon Barrow boss arena. They would take this, they would duplicate duplicate it to the old Altus tunnel, go back to the old Altus tunnel map. They would take this new asset, they'd bring it over here. Just keep bringing it up. And they would kind of try to line it up here. And that's fine. There would be no nav mesh for this area. There'd be no nav mesh whatsoever for this region, which some people hate, some people don't care. I feel like a lot of regular mod end users don't actually notice when there's nav mesh and enemies are turned off, but that's just, I think that's, I don't know. It's a long debate. I don't really care to discuss it right now. But yeah, so then you'd basically just be able to walk in here. Enemies wouldn't understand this area at all. They'd have no pathing. They think they'd just be walking into a void, but you could edit their NPC things so they would walk in here. But yeah, I mean, it makes for a kind of jarring experience. They'd run into walls. It'd be stupid. But I mean, most people don't notice. Most people are just like, oh, new area, how cool. That's all they want. But anyways, so we're not going to do that. This would just be kit bashing assets, adding them on. Old method. A lot of people should be familiar with it already. Yeah, so we're not going to do that. Instead, I actually edited that area in another mod. I actually edited the Dragon Barrow map and kind of reduced it. So here, I'm actually going to exit out of this right now. And I'm going to go to this other mod that I had. Well, maybe I didn't save it. I'm an idiot. Oh my God. Well, maybe we'll have to do a little bit more editing if this, I didn't save that map. Dragon Barrow. Dragon Barrow Cave. No, this is edited. Huh. Dragon Barrow Cave 3110, navmesh kit bashing. Okay. Oh, I was looking at the wrong mod. That makes sense. Navmesh kit bashing. This is the other project that I made that I'll probably put a link to a download. It's a little harder to follow. 3110, we're just going to take that. Oh, I guess we can exit Map Studio. I don't know what it's going to do if just a new map file shows up all of a sudden. Where's it? Old Altus Cult. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make a new directory, map, make a new folder in here, map studio. We're going to put the map file in there. And I'll just go over the edits I made really quickly. It's just purely a reduction. Oh, wait a second, getting ahead of ourselves. So I'm going to rename this. We're going to make this actually a new map because we don't want to alter. Did I make it 80? What did I do? Let me see. It doesn't really matter. We're going to do 3280. That's fine. Yeah. So now we can open Map Studio. We should have this new map in here that Map Studio will recognize, but our mod engine won't load the new area yet. Basically, all I did was I went to Dragon Barrow. I just deleted all the event stuff. Oh, right. I deleted all the event stuff. I deleted all the enemies, the dummy enemies. Just made a lot of deletions. I guess it's 3180. I can change this real quick. Yeah, and then changed all the entity IDs to new stuff. Yeah, so basically I just went through and selected all the existing assets that I did want, shift clicked all these, set the entity ID to 0 so there wouldn't be any interferences there, deleted all the enemies, left some pickups. All we want to use is the boss arena, and since you have to go up, I mean, we could add some ladders here if you want to get super, super fancy with it, but we're not going to do that here. We're just going to use this as a new sort of like boss area that, you know, is attached to the old Altus tunnel. And hopefully it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, let's unload this real quick because I want to see if we can get the BTLs working since right now on the current build, you have to put this empty directory in your map files for Map Studio to be able to recognize BTLs for new maps, but I think that's going to be fixed in the next version. So just a weird little quirk we got to do right now, work around. I think only a handful of people are working on new maps anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But well, looks like that's not working, but maybe it will when we copy the BTLs over. Okay, so let's move some map stuff over real quick. Got our old Altus cult map. We want to go to, ah man, see now I'm bad. I'm forgetting the map numbers. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at like video tutorials and stuff. So just bear with me. We'll get through it. 3110 Dragon Barrow. Okay. Go to 3110. 3110. We want, these are the two navmesh files, and we want the BTL file. So we'll copy those. And we don't want it to be in Map Studio. We want it to be in Map. We want it to be in M32. And then we want it to be in M32 80 0000. And for this, I do, you do give up a lot of control doing it this different way. You don't get to just throw down assets willy-nilly, just make a new tunnel out of nowhere. Like, you can't just be moving around assets. You have to keep the assets in exactly the same place, which I know like a lot of people who want greater control and like creative control, like they're not gonna like this method. Like it's just not for you. This is for like someone that like is pretty easygoing, doesn't want a lot of control. They just want a new little area to showcase something. That's it. But that's it. That's the navmesh files. That's the BTL file. See if we can, I don't know when it's gonna recognize that there's a BTL file in there. We can edit lights. 3280. Yay, we got the BTL. I don't know, sometimes it's weird, so we'll see how well they work. I don't really, the focus of this mod is not lighting whatsoever. Um, yeah, so we're good there. This is just, like I said, dumbed down version of Dragon Barrow. All enemies defeated. I would usually delete all of this stuff too, but I think it kind of matches up well with Old Altus Tunnel. So I'm gonna leave it because it all goes above. I would be worried about the nav mesh for like, say, this area or this area or any of this like interfering with Old Altus Tunnel, but I don't really have to because we're at the very bottom of Dragon Barrow where the arena is that you drop into, and that we're at the, is it still Dragon Barrow? This is still Dragon Barrow. What am I doing? There's Old Altus Tunnel. Um, we're at like the very, well, like not the very top, but basically the top of this region. Like once you start going off this way, all the actual geometry from Dragon Barrow is going to be over here. Like it's not going to be, unless it like loads outside, which you'd have to use collision masks to prevent, unless it like somehow loads when you're outside of this region. But we're not going to connect our new area 3280 to the overworld, so it should only load when you're in this particular part of Old Altus Tunnel. So we should be good theoretically. Yeah, so let's do a little bit more. Sorry, I'm like rambling a little bit. Again, don't really like doing video stuff. Um, so we are going to next, we have to go back into the game files. We're in the map. We need this in order to get Mod Engine to recognize our new map. We have to go grab this world load list. Drop off told me about this awesome little find that I was totally unaware of for years. But yeah, then we're going to have to, you know, use our witchy or yabber. Thank you to all the devs of that. And we'll just unpack that real quick. It's just a plain text file, so we can open it up with VS Code or text, whatever. We're just going to replace a random line. I don't think it matters at all. Just don't make new lines. Just copy over an old one. So we're going to do 80 here. We will exit that. That's all we need to do. So now it should recognize, Mod Engine should just load that now. So that's great. I think that's almost it for file edits. Let's see. Let me just make sure. I do want to add one asset into the game. And so this, I want, like, since it's like a Godwin sort of cult is the idea behind the mod. And the reason we want to have like a reason to use the nav mesh for this example. So I wanted to do some of those Godwin Deathroot Eye things that you see all over the map, wherever like Godwin has influence, wherever the skeletons are. I don't know. So go into asset. We're going to need to make a new asset because we don't want to edit the asset environment geometry parameters for the existing asset to like mess it up everywhere else it's used in the game. So we just want to make a standalone version. I would recommend doing that all the time. I don't like editing existing things in the game that could have issues down the road. Um, and so this I did earlier. I just copied. Oh, dang, what was the original asset? Might have messed up there. We might have to go to summon water and figure out which one it was, but that's fine. We'll do what we got to do. So, anyways, yeah, I just took these assets and what? Renamed them to 395. Let's go. Go do this summon water thing. I just got to figure out which asset I copied so we can copy the right parameter. I think it is just this one here. I just want to have kind of like a couple of these in the middle of the arena. So 7, 24, 2, 2, 4. Let's do that right now. So just so we don't forget. Pin this. And 7, 2, 2, 4. We will duplicate this. Get rid of the search. Find it. Change it to 300, 950. We'll call it Godwin Eyes. That's fine. And then the things we need to do in order to get it to dynamically, like the enemies to walk around it as if it's an obstacle, is just a couple of short edits here. The hit type, as far as I know, I have only tested this with a handful of assets, but hit type needs to be 1. Behavior type needs to be 0, dynamic, and this pre-destruction nav mesh flag needs to be 1. And as far as I know, that should just work then. So save params. I think we're good there. So that should be all the param edits we're going to do. If you were actually making a new map, I think I would recommend like editing the stuff so the map shows up properly. I'm not going to care about any of that. If like place name question mark shows up, I don't care. This is just for an example. I'm sure like the G params are going to be screwed up too, but again, like you can fix all that. There's plenty of other tutorials and people who explain that. I don't really care. Um, do, do, do. Let's go here and kind of prep this area real quick. We're gonna these I think are all dummy assets actually. There's just one smithing stone. So we'll just delete these dummy assets. They do nothing for us anyway. Then let's move this, kind of get this out of the way so we can see what we're working with. We might have to add, or this is like a mesh. Like this is not going to have the nav mesh. We're not going to be able to line this up perfectly. Like there is going to be a small portion in between our maps that, it's just not going to match up correctly. And that's fine. Like, we're not just at as a community, we're not at the point that nav meshes are easy nav mesh edits. This is just a kind of, even just a holdover, if you will. Like I'm not like this should be the final solution that everyone should use. The best possible way to edit nav mesh or use nav mesh is like obviously if someone writes a thing that lets people, I don't know, make nav mesh edits seamlessly or automatically generates them from where your assets are, like that would be amazing, but that hasn't happened yet. So until then, we gotta do something. And so we're gonna get these areas ready to connect to each other. What collision does this use? 200. So let's just duplicate 200 and we're gonna call it, I basically I don't like to mess with the existing collisions more than I have to. So if I can switch to another collision, just create a new one. I prefer that to leave the other one alone in case it has to do stuff that I don't understand. Like here, we've got a display group. I'm going to get rid of all the display groups because some weird stuff happens when you connect maps on collisions that, yeah, that use collision masks and display groups. So some of this I might have to edit off screen. There's just a bunch of things you have to do, but we're going to just try and see if we don't have to. Yeah, that's looking good. We, oh, I meant to be editing over here, but that's fine. Connect collision. This is 200. Make a new collision. 17. Delete that. 17. Set this to -1. Get rid of these. Get rid of these. 2, 2, 2, 2. That's fine. I almost want to set the play region on this. What is the play region for this one? Okay, Unc 30. I don't know how much of this stuff you really need to do, so we'll figure it out, right? See, I don't know what this thing is, but I'm just gonna set this to the same. I think this is like -1 a lot of times. Blah blah, but let's just try to, I mean, this is our new map, so we can do whatever the hell we want with this stuff. And the boss room arena is usually the last, like, not one of these 90, like 900,000 collisions, but that's usually the boss room is like the highest one that's incrementing by 100 at a time. Change this to 2 so it matches our 200. That matches, right? No. Okay, take this. Let's put this here. I think we could even probably delete this 17 because we don't need it in our new map. We're just going to use the old boss room collision. We could probably delete all these, but I just didn't want to delete all the assets. I was too lazy to go through. Yeah. And that's Old Altus Tunnel. That's Old Altus Tunnel. We want to reuse Old Altus Tunnel as many places as we can because this isn't really like, it doesn't want to, we don't want it to feel like a whole new area. So 200, we got that. Let us do a connect. I kind of want to take the connect collision from Altus Tunnel because that one does actually connect to Perfumer's Grotto. It's more similar, like it's not a connection from the overworld. And so I kind of want to duplicate this to Old Altus Tunnel. Well, let's do both of them at the same time. Part, region, let's grab, I think this one is to the other dungeon. No, that's the overworld actually. Okay, so let's get this and this. And we're going to duplicate to map. And we can get rid of, we're not actually editing Altus Tunnel at all. I'm going to change this to, were we going to do 200 in old Altus Tunnel? No, no, we were going to do 700, 17. 17, 17, 0, 0, I think connect, oh no, wait, this is connect collision. What am I doing? Sorry. I'm also like a very slow modder too, so trying to get this on camera in like a reasonable amount of time is a little stressful. Why does this have display groups? Oh, because it's still linked up with 300. Okay, and we want to leak this up to 3280. That's fine. I need to change this. I think sometimes this is like 5, but I don't know why. And let's change that to 2, because I think our thing is mostly 2. Yep. That looks good here. I like that. Let's go to region. Let's go to connection. We've got this. Let's change this to 3280. 3280. Oh, 3280. That's fine. I don't think we updated on the connect collision either, actually. No, we did. 3280. Okay. And then let's copy these. We're actually going to just take these and duplicate them to our new map as well, which is going to complain because it doesn't have that collision, but we'll change it out for 400. So here we want that old Dragon Barrow boss room collision to be the connect collision. And we want it to connect to 3204 instead. Oh, no, just 4. That's fine. And then we have that's the connect collision. Then we have the connection. I'm going to connect this to, oh, no, just 404. Okay, that's fine then. I think for the most part, that's fine. We want this connection. You'll notice that there's a minus 256. I mentioned this in the written guide. Basically, it's all the maps sort of load with the same origin by default, like the interior maps. They're not offset at all in reality. So Perfumer's Grotto, which I think is here, Altus Tunnel, it actually has that 256 offset, or yeah, negative 256 to move it as if it were over here, I think, or load Perfumer's Grotto. I don't know which way is actually negative or positive on that coordinate, the Z coordinate, I think. So it actually is pushing it as if it were being loaded on the overworld up here, and then they line up seamlessly in the middle right here somehow. But were you to set that to 0, then it would load like about here on the same tile when you entered them, and they wouldn't line up at all. Like the lineup would be like here, and its lineup would be like here. So um, that is to say, like learning about these connections is a useful skill, even outside of this sort of hacky workflow. Even if you just wanted to connect, say, deep root depths to another area or a catacomb to another area, like connect it to a cave or something, like is a useful skill. Yeah, otherwise. Did I delete the shell on this? No. Good. Cool, cool, cool. I think we're doing pretty good. This, I think I'm just gonna change this one to 17, which might mess up where our character is currently because I loaded the character over there. But I'm just gonna, for experimentation's sake, let's just change this assets collision to 17. I'm gonna leave the other ones just because, we're doing a tutorial. But that connection, I am going to set the connection on the going to map to 0. So it's not going to be offset at all. Wait, why does this have two connections? You do not need a connection to the overworld. Okay. So that's 0. It's just going to load this map normally. And then the connection to it from Old Altus Cave, we do want to offset, and this is just going to, you could just do, as far as I know, I might just be dumb, but it works for me so far. But I don't know. I don't know. You could just do subtraction for these points. You can just do get the difference, and that'll get you the connection offsets. So just find the first piece from the map you want to connect, and then find the coordinates of the offset and do one minus the other. So basically, I put like an asset like around here where I wanted it to load and got its coordinates, and then did minus the coordinates of the Dragon Barrow Arena. So I don't know. I don't know much about like 3D space and stuff. I couldn't make like Map Studio or anything like that, or like, I don't know, like any of these 3D viewer programs. I'm not that smart at all, but basically then grab this asset's location and subtract the top point, subtract these from the top points, and then you'll get your offset for your connection. That'll sort of like bring it up here when it loads, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes any sense at all, but yeah. Let's see. I think that's looking pretty good. We've got the offset connection. I think, yeah, we need the connect collision for the new map. We have that. You're only going to be walking on collision 4 because that's the boss room, so that should be fine. Hmm. I mean, let's just try it. Let's just boot that game up and give it a shot. Oh, wait. Did we repack the world list? I don't think we did. Go to Old Altus. I don't think we repacked this. We edited it. Yeah, but we never repacked it, so it's not going to load our level. So get your Yabber, your Witchy, and it's DCX. So yep, that's good. We've got our new asset. I guess we could add our new assets in down here real quick. Blah, blah, blah. Just copy one of the, oh, it's 300. Why are you 300? This whole thing is 300? We've been betrayed, guys. We've been had. It was 300 was the boss room the whole time. Well, I'm glad we checked. Let's go back to 300. Set this all to 300, 300, 300. Go to 300. What do they use 400 for then? I have no idea. Well, who knows? Condition 2. I don't know if that matters again. Ugh, we've got to get all this stuff. 17. Yep. 300. 300. 17. 300. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. And if I have to copy these from another mod that I have working already, I have like a new maps example mod out there. I have posted in tools and resources and server name, there's plenty of different things, resources you can use. You can even like grab the latest version of Dark Moon and look at the map connections I did there for the new area, or one of the new areas. Yeah. So this is looking fine now. We caught a couple of mistakes we were making already that always slow me down. Let's see. That's looking good. That's looking good. Got 17, got 17. Got 300. That connects correctly. Yes. Okay, so, I mean, at this point, we've done quite a few edits. Let's just kind of see if it works, I mean, we probably did something wrong, and we'll see. Oh, we were gonna add the Godwin eye things, but that's fine. We can do that in a second. Sorry, I'm on my old laptop, so it's kind of runs slow. Yup, yup, yup. Oh, you know what we did? We didn't change the toml. So it totally didn't load our mod at all. That was great. Let's see, what did we call our mod? Old Altus Cult. Old Altus Cult. Okay, now load Elden Ring. Yeah, I don't know. Sometime, I don't know. We'll see how much like people like this workflow. I know it's attractive, like getting like with relatively few edits, like just to the MSB, like getting like some working nav mesh seems like an attractive prospect, but it's also like, you're just sending people to essentially old areas they've been to already, maybe like switching out a couple of things. Oh, look at that. Not bad already, you guys. That was pretty harmless. That's not difficult at all, really. Looks like our connection's off by just a little bit. We might add like a little connecting cave there. So that little tunnel we're going to connect, should we do it on this? We could do it on this side or we could do it on the tunnel side. Doesn't really matter. Let's think. I really like these like little dead end paths from their asset reuse. They make like for great places you could just connect another area. Like you just connect another area right there to Dragon Barrow. Like right here, you just got to find something that lines up fairly well. I don't think you can rotate the connections. It's a good thing to note is I think they're pretty much set in stone. So I don't know. I think George might have tried connecting them. I don't know if it worked or not really, but let's see. We're gonna need one of these too. Those are nice. Let's see, what is this? That? Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's looking pretty nice. I might take these two assets, duplicate them. So obviously, like this is traditional kit bashing. Like we're not gonna get any nav mesh for what we're doing right now. This doesn't. There's nothing. There's as far as nav mesh is concerned, there's a solid wall right here. So no one is gonna walk through there willingly unless they're within striking range of you, which you don't want to rely on in a mod. That's like, oh, if they can hit you, they'll follow you over here. It's like, no, that's just dumb. Yep. So that's good. This kind of entryway looks great. Are we on the same collision? No, no, no. Glad we checked because that is not going to connect collision. So update that to 3, 3, 3. Update our map. Let's just quit out here and see how close that got us. Yep. Anyways, I hope this is somewhat informative or someone finds it cool. I think this would be cool if you just made like a new boss and you just want, or a new item, you could just put a little alcove somewhere, or you can connect a couple of these. That's all my written project is like connect a few. It's still not close enough. Need like a second piece that turns to the left. This, yeah, see this kit bash, this can take forever. You can spend hours just like looking for the right asset and stuff, and it's tedious. way too huge. Yeah, maybe we just try. Yeah, maybe we just try this. And obviously you want to minimize this as much as you can, because this is the whole point of this tutorial is like, oh, you don't want these kind of areas anymore, these no nav mesh. But you can kind of make, I think, interesting ideas to get around this. Like you could kind of have like maybe this is like a cult of Godwin, kind of ideas like, well, maybe the Altus soldiers and the miners want to leave them alone. Maybe that's why. Maybe they boarded this up. Maybe they don't go in here for a reason. Maybe that's why the cult doesn't leave. Maybe there's like a big trap on the other side. Maybe there's like a golem archer or a troll throwing giant pots. Like maybe there's like a reason, a narrative reason why they're not going over there. I think you can kind of do. I know that might be seen as hacky as by some, but you know, limitations. You can do cool stuff right now, but well, that's not good. That is not what we're looking for. Let's see what happened with our Godwin Eye thing. $300, $950. Did we put that in the old Altus cult? Asset 300. 300, 950, AG 300, 950. What did we just do? Did I just type the wrong thing? Am I dumb? Is it both? Nope, not loading. I might have done something wrong for all I know with the reskinning, which I can grab a different asset, just for demonstration purposes then, if necessary. AG 300 doesn't need to be in its own folder. Ugh, this is the stuff I didn't want to get stuck on. AG asset, AG 300, AG 300, 950. Old Altus cult, asset. Is our directory wrong? Yes, I think so. Yeah, we needed to do, let's exit the game. Just, I don't want to cause any issues. Just adding a whole new asset to the game. Yeah, this directory I think is supposed to be called, no, it's asset, I missed a directory, AG. This is what I get for doing stuff from scratch. I should have done a lot of this stuff off screen. Yep. Let's save this. Save this. I get like paranoid about saving stuff. Exit this. I don't even know if you have to do half this stuff. I just want to make sure that the asset loads okay. Let's see. Because this is like the exciting part of the tutorial. It's like having a thing that enemies will go around as opposed to just turning off their pathing entirely. Okay. So I kind of thought it would be cool to have a couple of these kind of around the arena. Maybe like back to back so they look more complete. And then I don't know, for the actual boss, I was just thinking about some of those omen, the one omen that casts Fia's Mist, and then some like skeletons was what I was gonna do, but we're not gonna do that together. I mean, that's just a random idea for this like little area. It doesn't have anything to do with your ideas, so it doesn't matter. But this is just, we want to put these down to test and make sure that the enemies can find their way around them and don't get stuck. We might just for demonstration purposes put two, like make a kind of wall. Like, that looks stupid. I wouldn't do that if we were actually making a mod, but the more stuff they can get stuck on for demonstration purpose, I would rotate these, try to make it like a chaotic root growth, but it doesn't matter right now. This is strictly for demonstration purposes. Sometimes like these dynamic obstacle type things, I don't think they're optimized. I don't know how the params marking them as dynamic obstacles or whatever with that nav mesh flag. I don't know how like good it is. Sometimes some assets like they're able to pass through right like this, like perfect. Some assets are like a little skinny and they think they can like hit you through it. But like once they realize they can't hit you or like start their time to forget or their search, they'll generally go around it. But you can play with it. In that written guide, I had like a little area with a dog that never forgets you, and it's just you can just jump over the little walls and watch it kind of find its way to you. That's how I was experimenting with it. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You've got to play with that yourself. Let's see how that works. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Start up Elden Ring again. I don't know. I think this is a neat idea for like if you have a couple of different areas you want to combine. Like say you have like, and especially doing levels in reverse or starting with the end is very interesting. Um, can kind of put ladders so they climb up the direction they come from, and the nav mesh should be working. Ah, it's so close. It's so close, you guys. Nice. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you can connect that last little bit yourself. I don't even really care about this that much. You can put whatever rock there, but just know, like, this is pretty much the cutoff for your nav mesh. It's like there was just a wall here in the original Dragon Barrow, but you haven't moved this asset at all. This asset is as it was in Dragon Barrow Cave, so it should line up exactly with the nav mesh. All we did was move the connection, add the connection and move the connection so these two levels line up. So when you're at like say 400 um, Y coordinate for Old Altus Tunnel, you're actually at like deep underground where Dragon Barrow would be. So kind of neat. There's our new area. It's looking good. The G params are definitely jacked up. Not this much light should be coming in, but yeah, see, the sun should not be moving, but that's okay. Let's quit out for a second and add some skeletons just for demonstration purposes. Or, I would add skeletons, but I honestly just don't even care. So I'm going to add just some of our friendly miners from Old Altus Tunnel. Just throw them over here. Maybe they got corrupted by the cult. No, it doesn't matter. Um, No, it doesn't. I don't even care. This is strictly just here's how you do a weird thing. And if you like it, you like it. And if you think it's cool and you have a use case for it, then you think it's cool and you have a use case for it. But if you hate it and you're like, I need to be able to make nav mesh myself. Did I just duplicate the right map? I have no idea what I duplicated them to. Delete these guys. Don't know where they went. Duplicate to map. 80. And we're just going to move them down. But yeah, just offsetting that connection, this loads up there. How cool is that? And we took those navmesh files, so they are essentially exactly in place. You could make a ladder going up here, delete the fog wall obviously, but you can make a ladder so they'd have to traverse Dragon Barrow in reverse. Kind of a little cool idea, different thing. I mean, it's not like awesome, like holy shit, like New Volcano Manor 2 or something, but it's like a neatish idea. Actually, these enemies might be bad for this because I don't know if they even like do melee or they just throw rocks at you, honestly. But well, what can you do? We can try. That's all we can do. We don't want them to have any of these. Stone Digger, we want them to both be on collision 300. Yep. Old Altus Tunnel, save. Even though we didn't do anything. New map, save. Let's continue. I don't even know if it's going to load us in the right place because that map doesn't technically exist. Oh, it loaded us in. Yeah, because that's a, maybe because that's a boss room. Let's see if we make the jump again. Yeah. Let's see. Let's just equip fists so I don't kill these guys. Remove. Remove. Ah, damn it. Where are they? Fuck. Jeez. Is it because they have the same instance ID as the ones that I killed? I wonder why they didn't show up. You know, there is something weird on the collisions sometimes that like won't let, I don't know what it is. It's like it won't let enemies spawn. I don't know, it's real weird. Let's just try updating the instance ID. And we might switch one of these over to another collision. Maybe just switch you over to 400. I don't know if that'll do anything. Eh, it is what it is. Well, let's copy another one. Just want to get this over with. You can tweak all this. I don't care. I'm going to put you to no collision part name, and I'm going to put you to a display group of 1. I think that's how enemies on the overworld work generally. Yeah. Maybe they fell through the ground while we unloaded the level. Generally, you want like everything around the collision that connects to the new region to have that connection. You can even add a connection for multiple collisions, and then it should always get loaded. Man, I really wish we had that piece of ground, but I just don't care. Blah blah blah. Come on, come on, give us one. God damn it. God damn it. Okay, we're just gonna quit the whole game. Should we quit the whole game? Yeah, turn to desktop. I wonder what these are. See, I had this issue with some of my other maps, but I got the enemies to load somehow. Pew, pew, pew. Yes. Let's put you on 0. We're just gonna keep adding these guys. Ba, 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 ba. Let's do H000100. And then let's do, what other collisions do we have? Let's just make one for every collision until we find one that works. That's one thing you will get used to with this is you will just jack with collisions so much, for better or for worse, but you will just mess with the collision settings non-stop until you find something that works. And that's fine. There's just a lot of, unks. It's totally okay. We just don't know what some of those fields do. So until someone figures it out, it's just kind of messing around. The blind leading the blind. Okay. If they're not spawned, I might go back, warp back to the bonfire, use a memory of grace, and oh no, we got these guys spawned. Okay, I mean he's using his pickaxe. I like that. He's kind of slow. Don't like that for demonstration purpose. Oh, oh, oh. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Come on, come on. See, I like a dog for this. It seems like he is. He like he pathed pretty well there. I like a dog because they're just aggressive and fast for this. I mean, look at that. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. And so these are marked basically as like the same, you could think of them as like trees before they're destroyed, like trees that get knocked down by rune bears or like something that a regular enemy couldn't necessarily destroy, but would destroy it, might be destroyed at some point. And basically, the nav mesh is pre-baked, like it's made long before the map ever loads. It's made like during the game development process. And so it can't be edited in real time. These are here so that um, like these assets exist so that things can in the middle of combat change the ground, different things, and the enemies can still route around them correctly or have a faster route once something's destroyed. See if he tries to attack us through the wall. Well, it's not perfect, but beggars can't be choosers. It seems like he found us pretty well. But yeah, I mean, like these are unedited NPC things. You saw everything I did. Like this is how they work. You got a working, working nav mesh area. You should be able to like summon spirit, add spirit summons to this. Let's see if he gets around. Huh? 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 Ah, look at him. He's so smart. Yeah, have your own little like narrative area. Like put some skeletons, put some servants of death, omens in here, have some cool little stuff. I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. Working nav mesh. I mean, someone's probably gonna be like, "Oh, that's Dragon Barrow, bro." Like, I know what that is. Like, you just copy Dragon Barrow, but like, I don't give a fuck. Like, hey, I made like a new little area for you. Enjoy it, you stupid whatever. Um, yeah, I don't know. That's really it, guys. There's nothing much else to it. Like I said earlier in the video, I know some people are not going to like this process at all, but what did we do? We did like a handful of map edits and we have like a brand new area with working nav mesh. Like, is it recognizable? Could you definitely reskin it and try to stay as close to the nav mesh as possible? Yes. Could you, tack some assets onto the ceiling? Yeah, probably. I don't care about any of that. You can pretty this up as much as you want. You obviously connect it so it actually works. Just be aware where your areas with the no nav mesh are. The benefit of this. Oh, damn. The benefit. This dog. The benefit of this would be, you're getting areas with nav mesh. So be cognizant of like, okay, I'm adding some areas in between without nav mesh. How tolerant of that are you? Which areas are you like, it's okay for enemies not to be able to path here. I'm fine with that. Even if you did some quick turns, like look, that dog made it in here, and that was pure just luck. But maybe you have some quick turns. Maybe you have a little platforming area. Maybe you find a way to get the nav mesh to actually line up pretty seamlessly. I don't know. There's a lot of different things you could do here. But I don't know. I think it's kind of neat. You can make a brand new area with some working nav mesh. I think that's kind of fun, um, even if it is just sort of a rehash. And as for like you know, you don't want to give up your creativity. You want to be able to use whatever asset you want wherever. You want to put like a Farum Azula next to a academy asset and you want to pile them all up on top of each other, like I don't care, but this is probably not for you then. Like you probably just want to go with the turn off pathing. This is if you don't really care that much about your areas and you just want to put you just want to add like a new little region, and it doesn't have to be super unique. It's just to showcase a new item, a new enemy, um, a little quest. Maybe you break into here and like there's an extra little thing for box quest line or something. I don't know. Maybe you add your own NPC and this is a secret area you have to go to for them. Um, yeah, I mean, pretty simple stuff. And yeah, you'd want to add like map point, params for map point and G params. If you were to actually do this for real, you'd want to add text names for your new area potentially. But you can do a lot of neat stuff. How are we doing on time here? Let me check real quick. It's been about an hour. I think as a last thing, I would like to just kind of show the like other area I made just for another example. Um, and you could do connections to the overworld too. It's just getting through the map piece is kind of a pain. I'll unload the overworld with an additional collision in the new areas when I do that, and then that kind of acts like a trick. You can pass a tunnel through like the ground and the collision on the ground um, in order to make a new cave and stuff. But that's like a whole other process. It's not relevant to this one. Yeah. Sorry, this is kind of all over the place. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask someone to help edit it for me or something so it's not so scatterbrained. Where's the other area I added for that navmesh, the written tutorial? Let me see. Forget where I added it. Oh yeah, it was Kaled. Divine Tower of Kaled, the basement. Okay, I'm gonna exit this. We're gonna edit the toml to load um, the other example mod. But I mean, just an hour, you've got a working navmesh mod, like is kind of cool, I think. I don't know what other people think. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Yeah, so this is just, what do I call that other mod? Navmesh kitbashing. And you can add some cool EMEVD if you've got HKS edits, like if you've got a cool boss for the area, I think that's awesome, or some just new little enemies. I feel like Prima's doing a lot of cool stuff with this right now, and I know a few other people have said they're interested, but yeah, we'll see. I'm not like a great, I don't know, tutorial guy, so this is probably very chaotic, but at least it shows you the process, you know? It shows you the process. We started a mod from scratch, we got a new little joining area on Old Altus Tunnel with navmesh, so that's kind of neat. Let's go Divine Tower of Kaled. Okay, so I added a new little area. This is the written tutorial I did, but I feel like it was just a little too confusing, like all written down, so I wanted to do another one. But I'll upload that as well, probably to tools and resources and server name as well. So this was another like nice little area to join things to. So it's just a single wall, you move it. And this area, I actually grabbed these assets from Old Altus Tunnel as well. This area all has no nav mesh. This tunnel we're going through right now, no nav mesh, just good old kit bashed assets. And obviously the G params are terrible. And then this is Academy Crystal Cave right here, with a couple of assets replaced to kind of change the vibe a little bit using some of those Divine Tower architecture instead and some of these guys. But this is all working nav mesh here. You know, this is punch this Revenant in the face. He still doesn't care. Okay, now they care. Um, this is working nav mesh here that will path around these statues correctly. Obviously, they won't go into the area where we didn't have nav mesh. That door, because there's usually a fog wall, I think they won't have they won't path correctly through there. They'll path correctly through all of this that was from the Academy Crystal Cave generally. They can't get through that door though, but these like imps would. Oh, god damn it. But yeah, they should like follow you in here potentially. I don't know. They're the throwing pot ones, so they might not. No, they just want to throw their pots, but they would path through here, I believe. But then I connected that to a new area which was connected to Divine. This is a Divine Tower of Altus, East Altus. So I mean, kind of neat. Like got an abyss type area here. These dogs and this guy should follow you correctly. Damn it. But yeah, they should like go around these. That's the existing crystal cave. Navmesh and existing divine bridge or whatever. Navmesh. These dogs, I just gave them like very far sight. But I mean, I thought this was interesting. You put these are like the dynamic obstacle walls, so they shouldn't try to pass through this wall to get to you. You don't see a divine bridge like this, like with a stone wall underground under another divine tower much. Like it's kind of an interesting mashup of areas. And I think that's like where this really shines is like making a cave that's a couple of these, like a pseudo shunning grounds of like a little mishmash of a couple of different areas. You can make something kind of interesting. Maybe you could make like this into like and then this is the Elden Beast nav mesh with just some ground assets, and these are all the dynamic obstacles. So these dogs should be able to more or less find us through this little maze. You just jump, this is like a little testing area. But yeah, they should all path around correctly. And this is the Elden Beast nav mesh, so it's all just flat without these dynamic obstacle assets. They're just going to find their little way. Yeah, but I hope this process is not too tedious. Probably upload both these mods at some point or another. And yeah, you can make your own little areas. And it's kind of neat. You have enemies that are working as if they were in the vanilla game, not just brain dead zombies running towards you. It's kind of fun. Um, I hope you like the tutorial. If you have any questions, I'm Gabe12345 on server name, and yeah, I'll do my best to kind of help you through this process. Use this video as a reference, use the mods as a reference, and yeah, I think it's kind of neat. I know you lose a little bit of control with this process, but you gain intelligent enemies, which is, I think, a big plus for losing a little bit of creativity. You get enemies that are just not idiots, which is fun. But yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you got any feedback or other ideas or ways that it could have sped this up, just let me know. I'm not a tutorial guy really. I just like kind of helping people out as they go through processes. Yeah, just let me know. Thanks a lot, guys.